Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Lankford, and I heartily greet you from the Gordon Marketing Campus here in Central Indiana. I know the plans I have for you. I know that they're plans to prosper you and not to harm you. I have plans to give you a hope and a future. I wish I could claim that one, but I can't. If you go to the wonderful Word of God and look at chapter 29, verse 11, you'll find that those are words from Jesus Christ, who said, I have plans to prosper you. Guys, I'm going to take that a little bit out of context because Jeremiah was sharing that with the children of Israel. But I'm going to be just as emphatic with everyone who's on the call. And we're fastly approaching the over 40 states represented again. So you guys have a tremendous influence with a lot of folks across the nation that you can impact. I'll say first and primarily interested is being able to use what I'm going to share with you today to be able to make a tremendous impact on your income. If you will just take some very basic steps and tweak the way that you talk to people on the phone, and if you can find a way to do exactly just what is the old way of replicating, of researching, of development. They call it R&D. I want you to change the research and development into these two words: rob and duplicate. In 23 years of being in this business, I don't try to be creative. What I share with you guys and gals, I'm not trying to be creative and say, oh, look at me, look what I've accomplished. I have very many teachers and mentors in this business whom I have just simply incorporated, maybe tweaked a little bit. But oh my goodness, guys, what I'm sharing with you over the next, I don't know, maybe we'll spend about 15 or 20 minutes going through a PowerPoint. And then I'd like to get directly to some phone calls. I have a dozen leads, what we affectionately call leads, I think more appropriately called responder forms. And I'll even take it one step further than that. I call them sales. So what I have in front of me are just responses back from our direct mail campaign of this first one that we're going to call is Toby Pointer here in Indianapolis, on the south side of Indianapolis. He filled out one of our letters. And this came from a direct mail campaign that I have our lead department do for me. I usually take about 3 or 4 responses back in a week, and I've not been able to be calling on anyone for about the last week and a half since I've been in Dallas and involved with a couple other things. But you guys know, typically I am in the field 1 day a week. This week I'm going to be in the field on Wednesday. So per the PowerPoint you'll see here, I will emphasize to you, don't call beyond 48 hours. If you're calling and setting up your week, shame on you. You should not be setting up anything beyond 48 hours. But I've got a little bit off the subject. I want you guys to prosper. There's no reason at all why you still don't have enough time to make over $100,000 for the last 10 months of this year. No reason at all. Even if you contact me, I send you to our lead team. They say we can't do our immediate program. I've got 4 different levels of other lead sources. If you need a lead, I'll get you one. I will get it in your hands. We had 2 agents all in the Las Vegas area who they're on our lead program and our first and secondary sources of our lead program. Vern Barkdahl, who's on our campus today over at our Life and Annuity University, said, "Hey, I've got some agents. I would like to." Have be able to get some leads in their hands. Well, our first and secondary primary sources were gone. We already committed to another agent. So I will not mail out the same letter from the same lead source and say, okay, here, this is an exclusive lead. You guys know as well as I do that Joe and Bill tomorrow could create their own lead company and mail the same letters out to a family, and same way with the way that we do it. When I'm sitting with a family, they usually have 2 or 3 letters that they have filled out, that they've mailed in, and it's going to be up to me to be able to get in that home, even if they've already been sold. So it's up to how much quality can I be on the phone to be able to work through their objection and to be able to still sit with that family. I'm going to share one key item that talks about, did you guys take the free option? Remember that. I'm going to come back to that, but that will get you in a home. I want to prosper, you guys. So remember, number 1, make a difference in your income. If you're being an agent who makes it happen, you will make it happen for your income. Number 2, you're going to make it happen for your family. Number 3 will take care of number 1 and number 2. If you will make it happen for that family you're trying to protect, for this person, Toby, who sent in this form and said, hey, I'm interested in some information. These folks may not realize that we want to sit down with them. It doesn't say we're going to come out to the house, but it does say you may qualify for this option to, if you die, we'll pay off the house. You get sick or injured, we'll make your mortgage payment, or the option to also get all of your money back. That's why Toby sent this letter back. So that's why we're going to call him here in a few minutes. Just real briefly, if you're sitting in front of your computer, guys, you want to have a fast-paced way of being able to increase your income. There is no better way, and everybody who's on this call, you'll get this agent levels sheet that I promised you last week. We had to tweak it a little bit to make sure that the whole thing would fit on one page instead of trying to send it out on a couple different pages. So I think we have tweaked it where hopefully you can see this on one page on your computer, but all the way up to 120% contract by just being a salesman. Unheard of contracts usually for any FMO being able to offer that. You can get that contract with Phoenix, Mutual of Omaha, Foresters, and American Amicable with us by just producing. You see that, and I'm not going to digress very far from our appointment setting. This is important. The more appointments you set, the more families you're going to sit with. The more families you sit with, the more annualized premium dollars you're going to be able to make in a week. You hear on our leaderboards every Friday at 11 a.m. agents who are writing $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in 1 week. We're talking about moving up from 100% contract to 105% contract by writing 25,000 annualized premium dollars in the entire month. Then you go to 105% contract. You go from being a silver producer to a gold producer. You go and you do, now you don't skip levels, but you do the next 12 months at 40,000 issue paid. You're going to work yourself all the way up to 120% contract. Thank you, Fred, for making sure I clarify what is issue paid. Issue paid in our business is no matter what you submit, what did you get approved and issued on the books in that month? So before the last day of the month, what does the carrier have you down as something that they have been paid on? So it doesn't go issued until the carrier, basically until you get paid is when it gets, but sometimes you can go issued on the last day of the month and you can get paid the first or second day of the next month. But as long as it is issued and on the books, the last day of the month, that's issue paid. Okay, let's just jump over here to our PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint is simply as clearly as it's stated there is. We're going to focus just on mortgage protection today. So not so much on the final expense, just interested in the mortgage protection. And of course, I say that kind of tongue in cheek because, my goodness, I wrote of the 200 and I believe 245 applications that I wrote last year. Remember, I do this one day a week. Sometimes I'll sneak in like I will this week on a Wednesday because of this phone call and because of making sure that I'm doing this within 48 hours. So any appointments that I set today, I'm running tomorrow. I can't on Thursday because of our expo that I hope that you're coming to. But anything you hear me set today, I'm running tomorrow. So the essence of a successful phone call. I want to be very clear and emphatic on the two polar opposites of people who are successful on the phone. You'll have those who are hitting right in between of the the polar opposites. The one polar opposite that you immediately come to mind, you start talking in, oh, hi, Mr. Jones, and how are you? Is everything going real well with you? That screams being a telemarketer. They know you don't care really how he or she is. Don't ask the question. That screams telemarketer. Don't come off and trying to be their friend. Again, that screams being a telemarketer. So we're going to go to the other extreme of being from a over friendly screaming telemarketer to somebody who's cold and, hey, this is Tim Lankford and I am here, you sent in this letter. So we've got to find that middle ground. And with my phone script that I'm going to be sharing with you, and everyone on this call will get the agent sheet, that the agent levels chart that you just saw. Everyone on this call will get this PowerPoint, and everyone on this call will get both my aged lead and my new lead phone scripts. So name recognition, immediately I'm saying, hi, this is Tim Lankford. So a brief introduction, you'll see that on the next slide that we pull up. But I want you to get in concrete steps, name recognition, introducing myself, why I'm calling. Before I say another word, before I take a breath, I am getting those first three out so that they hear my name, they know what I'm calling for, and they tie it to this response form. You're taking a breath anywhere in there, you're trying to wait for an answer, they're going to hang up on you. Get to why you're calling. Then I'm going to move directly into, hey, I just needed to go over a couple of things with you before I even talk about wanting an appointment. I want to get them into some yeses. I want to be able to verify, I'm going to call Toby by his first name. Now, if it says James on here, most likely I'm going to say, hey, is this Jim? Hey, Jim. And actually, I don't even go into that. You'll see from my slide. All I'll do is say, Jim, with a question mark, kind of lifting my voice up there so that I will get some sort of response. Yes, no, maybe, but I'm going to come back later and say, hey, on your response, on the letter you sent back to us, it had James. Do you go by James or do you actually go by Jim? So I'm trying to make it a little bit more familiar with him. Then if somebody calls me and says Timothy, I know immediately they're on the one polar end of being a telemarketer. They don't know me. So I go into name recognition for the client, or who I say is the family who sent in this response form. I introduce myself, why I'm calling, the 4 to 5 yeses, and then my role for the company. I'm going to offer them after I get all that down and they've thrown up on me with all their yeses. I'm going to move directly into, hey, I've got an 8 o'clock tomorrow morning available. Will that work for you? And if they've got a wife or if they've got a co-buyer on here, we've got to talk about that because I don't want you going out on any one-legged appointments. One-legged meaning that if Toby is married or he has a significant other, I need that person in this appointment. It is ridiculous to go out if that person is not there. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes again. But I'm going to offer one specific time. Why do I do that? I do that because I want to make sure that I'm not, again, sound like the telemarketer. Hey, I'm in your area and we're going to be in there the next couple of days. Guys, I hate this. I'm going to be in there, the next 2 days in your area. What is better for you, morning, afternoon, or evening? Oh, guys, please, you're throwing up on yourself. Get to the specific of, hey, I've got 8 o'clock available. May I put you and Mrs. Pointer down for 8 o'clock to go over this information? That's it. That's the whole essence of your successful phone call, really is number 6 there. Because if they give you anything besides that time doesn't work, you've won. Because if they come back and say, what's this about? You know what? I'm no longer interested. Yeah, that wasn't me. If they give you anything else besides that time doesn't work, then you've got some more work to do. But if they go directly to, now, we work during the day, so we're not available, you have won. So it is kind of a give and take here. It is kind of a contest because you're trying to get to number 6 just to hear them say that time doesn't work. So guess what? The only thing you've got to do now is find out what time works. Isn't that great? You've got rid of all the other objections. Just now figure out a time. Don't go to, well, I've got a 10 o'clock available and a 12. No, 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 no. Now you want to go to, well, I have a couple options available tomorrow. What works best for you? And if there's a Mrs. Pointer or another Mr., what works best for you and your significant other? There you go. That's it. It's done. And you'll see it here in a few minutes. The only thing, as you saw that I sent out the email, the only purpose, the one and only purpose of this phone call. That's it. Down, write it down, put it in cement. The only purpose of this phone call is to set the appointment. You're not trying to find out if they're smokers, if they've had cancer yesterday, if they are diabetic. All those items are insignificant. The longer you spend time on that phone, the less likely you're going to set that appointment. I'll try to make it a little bit friendly if I've got somebody who I need to feel like I've got to connect a little bit, whether it's going to be, from kids, or if I hear kids in the background, if I sense something, I'm going to try to tie it to, well, no, I'm going to be working on my car. Oh man, I love cars. We'll have to talk about that sometime. But I'm going to get off of it real quick because remember, I'm not his friend. I don't know him. I really don't care if he works on the car. I care that he doesn't come home tomorrow night. Then it's my responsibility to get protection in on his life as soon as I meet with him. That's my responsibility, and I take it seriously, guys. I'm not trying to put it out 2 or 3 weeks in the future. Shame on you if you let that happen. That's your fault if he dies. Boy, that's strong, isn't it? That's your fault if you are so poor on the phone that oh yeah, I know it's kind of inconvenient for you tomorrow. Well, okay. When is the convenient? Anyhow, guys, not if you're on this team. If you are being successful, you really want to be a Josh Civic, a Chris Curtis, who's going to be on my call this Friday, a Jennifer Green out in Montana. These folks who are making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, it's not because they're saying, I want to make, $1 million a year. They're saying, how many people can I help? That's the essence of your ambition. That tells me how much you really want to grow in this business. Anyhow, then I move directly into locking down your visit. I hear some folks who say, yeah, boy, I did it within 48 hours. I confirmed that, the time, and yet half the people I set appointments with weren't there. I have less than a 1% no-show rate, guys. Let me take that back. I have less than a 10%. Let me take that back. Right? Yeah, because I will have less than one. Approximately out of 22, I have one no-show. Some days I'll have 2 no-shows when I've only got 6 appointments, but the law of large numbers, I have less than 1 no-show per every 10 appointments. 1%. You want less than 10% for sure. And I guess in that numbers, that's where that would really work, doesn't it? So less than 10%. So out of every 10 that you set, you should have less than 2 for sure. 2, hey, you're new, you're getting this started. But if you start hitting 2 or more out of 10 sets, it's because you messed up number 7. You didn't lock down your visit. You did not verify, okay, so as I'm on West Stop 11 where Toby lives, I'm going to verify, Toby, what side of the street is I'm traveling west, and I don't know if it's east or north or south or west street, but I'm guessing since it's a West Stop 11 road that it's going to be traveling west and east. Hey, as I'm traveling west on the street or I'm coming off of this major intersection, which side of the road are you on? What color's your house? Will I see the numbers on the mailbox or up on the house or both? Do you have some landmark in the front of your house? Do you have a statue, or will I see the yellow Ferrari out in the driveway? If you will take time with number 7, that right after the only purpose of the one and only purpose of a phone call is setting the appointment, this falls right in behind it. It does you no good if you've done 1 through 6 and you don't lock it down. You lock that puppy down hard, and then you'll hear me when I'm on the phone with anyone that hopefully that will reach at least a few people this morning. Hey, Toby, we said tomorrow. Oh, shucks, I hope I didn't goof this up. What time did we say? I want to hear it back from them. I want my appointment confirmed by the person I'm speaking with. Guys, I know what time I set. Why am I doing that? Because it's locking it down in their mind. Wow, this guy's really going to show up. Get your no-show rate to less than 10%. So out of every 10, have less than 1 person. It is so frustrating to be either porched or to knock, 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 and they're not there. We'll talk about next week. I'm going to go a little bit more specifically into the essence of an in-home appointment. I'll go through all of my 6 steps, and everyone will get a script for every step that I talk about. But you get out of that car, you wave. As soon as you get out of that car, you may feel like a dork, but over the last 6 years of doing this business, I've had more than a couple persons say, well, if you didn't see us, we wouldn't have answered the door. Guys, I never saw them. But as soon as I get out of that car, that just locked it in my mind. I'm going to wave because people are going to be looking for you. So anyhow, we'll do that next week. There's my whole script, guys. You will get this. Hey, Tom. Tom, my name's Tim Lankford. I'm following up on the letter you sent in. It's in reference to your mortgage with XYZ Bank. You remember it's the protection where your house is paid off in the event of your death, or you get sick or injured, we make your mortgage payments. You remember that card? You remember that letter? I'm waiting for an answer. So I've said that in about 10 or 15 seconds, and I don't take a breath. I want them to know there's my name, the purpose of my phone call. Okay, so hi, Tom. So right away, I am making sure I'm connecting with the right person. If it's a husband or a wife or somebody else who didn't fill out this form, I'm not interested in talking to them. Yeah, I will talk a little bit further with a husband since I am a man, and why are you calling my wife? So that kind of issue, don't get off the phone real quick and say, oh no, I've got to talk to Mrs. Pointer. Sorry, Toby, I'm not going to talk to you. But I'm not trying to set the appointment with Toby. He didn't fill out the card. He didn't fill out the letter. So hey, Tom, it's Tim Lankford. I'm following up. So right away, why am I calling? The purpose of my call is I'm following up on the letter you sent in. I'm not trying to say I'm with a mortgage protection center, I'm with West Point Financial Services, I'm with Gordon Marketing. No, the only thing that I want them to know is, hey, I've got this letter you sent in, and you remember it was in reference to your mortgage with, and most of our response forms have the name of the bank on there. So, hey, it's following up with the, actually, we're going to try ZAM here first. ZAM, Not sure what nationality that is. He's with Bailey and Wood Financial. So I'm saying, hey, Zam, it's Tim Lankford following up with the letter that you sent in reference to your mortgage with Bailey and Wood. You remember it's the protection where your house is paid off. So I'm slowing down a little bit, making sure I punctuate very well, making sure I enunciate so that they hear every word I'm saying, but I'm not sounding like an android. I say that with a smile on my face because I've had agents do that. So anyhow, hey, it's the protection where your house is paid off in the event of your death, or if you get sick or injured, we make your mortgage payments for you. You remember that letter? Okay, yeah. Well, I just need a couple things on that letter, on this letter. And you right there are your yeses. So I've got a yes of, hey, this is Zam or this is Tom. I've got, oh yeah, I do remember that letter. Remember, guys, you get this letter literally within the day that they have mailed it to us. So they mail it to us. It'll take 1 or 2, maybe 3 days to get to us. The day we get it, we send it to you. You're going to be talking to people. If they say I forgot it, ooh, yeah, they may not pass the senility question. So they've got to be sane. They've got to be where they don't have Alzheimer's. So anyhow, you see my point. If they've mailed it in within just the last couple days, they say they forgot it. We've got other issues that we need to deal with. So your name is. Do you go by Zam or should I call you? Do you go by some other name? You gave us this phone number to call, your date of birth, you did not mark. Now on Zam's here, he's got his date of birth and it looks like maybe a daughter or another child because his was in 59 and hers is in, or the other one's in 1989. Guess it could be a marriage. I'm not going to be judging. So your date of birth, and it looks like you put down as a co-buyer is 1289. And we've got your mortgage amount as XYZ. Your address is 7710 South Oak Drive. I'm pausing behind each of those 6 statements because why? Because I'm getting yeses. Now my roll. There you go. I don't need to read it again. You're going to hear it when I start calling. Now I'm going to go directly to that. I have 8 o'clock available tomorrow. How does that work for you and XYZ? Set the appointment. If that time doesn't work, then you ask, hey, is it better earlier or later in the day for us to get together? Or even better, what time is better for you tomorrow? Again, don't do the morning, early afternoon junk. There's some crucials. Not really going to go over that too much. You're going to hear that in the calls. You'll get this in the PowerPoint that I will mail out to you. You'll see some of the objections. I'd rather let you hear them as I handle them, but these are some of the objections that you will typically get, and not so much anymore from the standpoint of I don't remember anything. Again, remember. They just mailed it in. I do get, hey, I'm too busy right now. Really, another one I probably should put up there is you have to come out and visit with me in my home. I need to include this because I loved, remember when we had, hopefully you remember, when we had Alan Bowles, who did a phenomenal job on our final expense, because sometimes in this mortgage protection, you turn it into a final expense appointment. We turn it into an IUL appointment. We find annuities. So that's why we talk about life production, not just mortgage protection policies. Mortgage protection policies is a simplified issue term. That's simple enough, but I want to make sure that you're taking your blinders off. But key item for if they come back and say that you can, okay, I've heard from one person, GP, that you don't hear any sound. I have not heard that from anyone else. So GP, you might want to check your computer. It sounds like everyone else is hearing it come out. It's crucial that you come back and say, this is a state regulated plan. So I have to verify that this person on this letter is really you. Catch that, guys. Hey, I didn't know you're going to have to come and because if you are a male and you're talking to an older female, well, it may be a little bit uncomfortable. Don't, don't, don't allow them to go to, well, we can meet at a Starbucks, a McDonald's. Guys, what's terrible is when you go and you do meet them there and you sell it, that sets a terrible precedence for you. This is in their home, kneecap to kneecap, eyeball to eyeball. I have sat with folks in someplace other than in their home, and 90% of the time, the law of large numbers is that it's not going to work out. I want to get them in their home to be able to make it personal. I want them to be able to share that with, hey, you know, guys, this is some very personal information that I've got to ask you. So it's important that we find a private place like your home. So, but hey, I'm not looking to monopolize your entire evening. We're just looking for 10 or 15 minutes. So how does 8 o'clock work for you? So get off of it real quick, but let them know this is a state life insurance. All life insurance is state regulated. So, hey, this is a state regulated program. So I have to meet with you to verify that the person that's on this response form, this letter, is you. So, and then the other one, like I said, is real crucial. You want to be in their home. A couple don'ts there. Don't ever respond of coming back and say that I'm with the bank. If you respond with anything, you see my response. I'm with the Mortgage Protection Center. We work with Bailey & Wood. We are basically kind of an arm in mortgage protection to help Bailey & Wood get their clients approved. I am not with Bailey & Wood. Don't say, unless you also work at the bank, you can say, oh yeah, I do work with that bank, but don't give them the impression. There's already enough of an impression since you aren't trying to announce, hey, I'm with L&L Associates. No, I like the statement a lot of times, I'm just a field representative, or I'm the field underwriter, really like that one, who's been assigned to make sure that Bailey & Wood financial clients get this mortgage protection information. Not that you're selling anything, which of course that's our intent. So don't, so I don't want you to sell anything to me. Well, Zam, we're not talking about sales. I mean, if you want one, one of our products, great, but all my responsibility is get this information in your hands. Is that fair? Give me 10 minutes, Zam, and I'll get the information in. If it's something that makes sense to you, great. If not, that's the last time that we'll need to meet. But I've got to get this information since you sent this paperwork in. Don't forget to lock down your appointments, no one-leggers. There you go, guys. 116,000 in 2016. It's not a perfect system that I'm going to use my cell phone and put it on speakerphone, but that's really the only way that we can do this. So if I was in open forum, I'd say don't laugh. If I sound like a dork on the phone, I'm okay with it. But since I've got everyone muted, I don't have to worry about that. Laugh with me, please. So I will. Okay, let's go to a couple questions here real quick. And because I want to spend at least 15 or 20 minutes, guys, making some live phone calls here. Let's see, how much are these leads? Joseph, I'll send you out. Go ahead and email me, Joseph, tim@gordonmarketing.com, and I'll send you our lead information. They're $41.20 for a fixed cost lead, but then there's also $1 age leads and $5 age leads. So it's really hard to just answer that. But if you're on our lead program, our fresh leads are $41.20 fixed cost. No matter if you get 1 or 10 leads in a week, you'll never pay more than $41.20. Who determines the zip codes or mailing areas? You do, Joseph. So you say, hey, I'm interested in these counties. If we're available, if those counties have not already been taken by another agent, then you would be able to get those counties. And then Holly or Adam will do a real good job of telling you what you could anticipate of how many leads you may be getting back in a week. I'm too busy. Absolutely, I can answer. Can you answer the I'm too busy? Again, I don't get that too much because they wouldn't have sent it in. So what I'm too busy is a mask of I don't want you coming over. Is what I read that. But I'm too busy. Oh, Zam, I'm so glad to hear that. I've got 8 families that I've got to see tomorrow, so I'm going kind of nuts here. So it sounds like you're not going to take a lot of my time up. Is that true, Zam? So we can make this real quick. What time are you going to start your day? And you just go in there 10 minutes before that. Actually, no, I'd want to go in there 30 minutes before that. So when he says, I start my day at 8 a.m. Hey, Zam, matter of fact, I've got an 8 a.m. If you don't have it, you're going to have one right afterwards. So in your mind, you've already got that 8 a.m. taken care of. Zam, I've got an 8 a.m., so that won't work. And you're saying that's when you start your day. Zam, tell you this. Go ahead and grab a piece of paper and pen. Put me down between 7 and 7:30. I want to have at least 30 minutes allocated for somebody to be able to do the 6 steps. I can be in and out of a home within 20 minutes. We're down to business, getting things done. The whole presentation is really about an 8-minute presentation. But I want to, so if I'm too busy, oh, that is awesome. I love hearing that because you're not going to be there and you're not going to have 3,000 questions because you're busy, I'm busy. Let's make this happen because since you mailed this in, I've got to get this information in your hands. Is that why you mailed it in? Because you're concerned you die, you want the house to, so that your wife, or is that the reason why you mailed it in? So I'm getting back to the reason why you mailed it in and following up with in that regard, as far as, okay, let's dig a little bit deeper, make sure, hey, this is just following up with you. Since you mailed it in, I'm obligated to get this information in your hands. And that can handle the I'm too busy card. All right, let's jump over here to Zam and put in Zam's phone number too and put him on speakerphone.
Customer you have called is unavailable to take your call.
Well, that won't work. So let's go to the next. So this is Rebecca. Let's see, and I will probably go ahead and say Rebecca, whereas normally I'll come back and I'll make sure to come back to that and verify, hey, Rebecca, I have you down as Rebecca, but you go by Becky or by another name. Is what would you like me to call you? Since she was born in 1949, it probably would be Rebecca. Hi, may I speak with Rebecca, please?
Who's calling?
Tim Lankford. I'm following up on the letter that we received in reference to your mortgage with Chase Bank.
Okay, well, this is her husband. Can you talk to me?
Oh, absolutely. Is this, help me with the spelling or the pronunciation of your last name. Is it Mr. Rudical?
Nope, it's Bowman.
Now,
her name is Rudicil-Bowman.
Bowman. Okay, so you're Mr. Bowman.
I am Mr. Bowman.
Hi, Mr. Bowman. I'm Tim Lankford. Yeah, I can go over a couple bits of information for you. All I do for us is follow up with folks who have sent in the letter saying, hey, I'm interested in some mortgage protection information. We sit down with folks. You die, we pay off the house for Mrs. Bowman, or she passes away first, we pay off the house for you. Do you remember that letter? Or
yeah, well, I know about the letter because we got several. Are you with JP Chase?
I'm actually just what they call a preferred vendor. We work with about 15 different banks, and Chase just happens to be one of them.
Okay, because we got several letters, so I got an idea of about how much it's going to cost. But when we got the letter from you folks, it said more, JP Morgan Chase. So that's why I told her to call you.
Sure.
You guys a letter.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's what the real bottom line is. Any good reputable company like ours, we're going to make sure to use a home office like Mutual of Omaha to underwrite our mortgage protection. So as long as you're dealing, it doesn't matter so I guess I'm going to kind of talk my way out of this, being able to help you guys, because if you're sitting with anyone, as long as it's a big, strong company like Mutual of Omaha, we all can
Right.
do the same thing for you.
Right.
Okay.
So to cut to the chase, Tim, what's the bottom line? What's it going to cost
Absolutely.
to insure both of us?
Absolutely. It looks like is her date of birth, is it the 2/22/49? Yours is the
Right.
8/4/46?
Right.
Okay. So you guys aren't much older than me. I've got $100,000 at one time on my life a couple years ago. Ours is different now, but I put two different levels on. The first level, I think I spent like $22. Second level, I spent about $60. I'm real healthy, non-smoker. So depending on those things for you guys, it varies. And it really, Mr. Bowman, and it takes about 15 minutes. I would bring out my computer and I'd show you right on my computer, hey, this is your options. So if that interests you at all, I'll be more than glad to.
Well, right now is really a bad time because our whole condo is tore apart because we're having new hardwood floors put in.
Oh, how fun. Did you go with the 4 or 5-inch cherry wood or anything like that?
I'm sorry?
Did you go with the 4-inch planks, or are they going back with this? We're looking at it too.
I don't know what this is. What do they call this back? The flooring? It's not hard. It's not wood, but what is?
Oh, like laminate?
No, it's not laminate. It's something new on the market. It's called Cortex.
We're just looking at the regular wood. Well, how interesting. Yeah, if you have enough interest, Mr. Bowman, I literally, gosh, I wouldn't see it taking much more than 15 minutes, since you already know what you're looking for. I know what your ages are. I'm actually visiting with some families tomorrow. Now you're South Side, right? Make sure I didn't goof that up.
That I'm just what?
You guys are on the South Side?
Right.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've actually got an 8 o'clock available. If you have enough interest, I'll be more than glad to put you guys down for about 15 minutes at 8 o'clock.
Well, she doesn't want to get up at 8 o'clock. Here's where I'm at, Tim, and I got to be honest with you. We looked at one, and for $52,500, that's all I want. And I'm only going to have it for 2 years. It's going to be this is going to be paid off in 2 years.
Nice.
The one that we looked at, it was $8 a month. It was $8.50 or something like that a month.
Nice.
Are we in the ballpark with you?
Absolutely. On the first level, I would ask you to go back to that person just to clarify, to make sure that they are looking at the same thing. What you have there is an accidental only, and we are able to do the same thing. But if you wanted a full value, make sure that you clarify with that person that, hey, no, if I die of a heart attack, I want this covered. I've done this for over 20 years. That is not a full value. So depending on what you want, yeah, it's real easy to get you something that kind of is it's like what we call the first layer of peeling an onion. How important, how many things do you want to cover? And that's what I do over the 15 minutes when we sit down.
Yeah, well, the other thing, what I'm saying, though, Tim, is the 15 minutes is going to be real hard to get for the next few days because she just yelled in here. She said, I'm not dealing with anything until I get my house back together. She's very adamant about that.
It sounds like it.
And that's why I was trying to get some, like the one that we looked at, that if we didn't use it, then they gave us our premiums back. And I thought, well, how can you do that? How do you make money if we don't use it and you give me all the premiums back?
That's called a return of premium. It's a wonderful, it costs a little bit more money, but yeah, that would be one item.
This was one that was $8.50 some odd cents. And I thought, well, I'll just, because I could pay it monthly, quarterly, or yearly. And I thought, well, I'll just pay the damn thing yearly.
Sure.
And because like I said, my goal, I'm on the sheriff's department, and my goal is in 2 years, I want it all paid back. We borrowed 46. We didn't borrow the 52, but we have access to the whole 52. But I want to pay this back in 2 years, and then I'm retiring.
Dynamite. No, seriously, Mr. Bowman, if you can get that done for $8 a month, take that one. That's where I would suggest you to go. If you're able to cover everything that you want to cover and have a return of premium there, that's the route to go. Because yeah, I could not do return of premium and tell you that it's going to cover, you know, your heart attack, cancer, and stroke, because yeah, without calling that agent, not knowing what he's doing, he don't know what he's doing, Mr. Bowman, because yeah, it's not available. But you know, if he's promised you that, then I'd say definitely look him up, and when you guys are ready,
but
find
they
out.
promise you all kind of stuff, and then when it comes time to really getting it done, it somehow doesn't get done.
See, I can't do that. Even if we're just over the phone, I can't promise that, because that agent doesn't know what he or she's talking about.
So what are we looking at on the first layer protection with you then?
Sure. That was we could get the I would say $50,000 for an accidental. I don't have my computer up right now, but I'd say you're in that ballpark, somewhere between I'd say $10 to $20. Where yeah, if you it sounds like you're healthy. If you die for any reason, it's probably going to be of an accident. Then you would literally have, or Mrs. Bowman would literally have a check cut out to her tax-free for 50 grand if you died of an accident. But
you're
yeah,
talking $10 to $20.
And like I said, I'm just kind of roughly putting that in a ballpark. Yeah.
Well, why don't you do this before we make a decision? Why don't you give us like 4 days, because they said it's going to take about 4 days to get all this stuff put back together.
Okay.
And then why don't you give me a call the first of the week, and then we'll sit down. But we won't be doing it at 8 o'clock, because I get off at 11 o'clock at night, so I don't go to bed. I don't even get home and get in bed probably until about 12. And I certainly don't want to get up at 8 o'clock.
I don't blame you. No.
Number, and then let's sit down and we'll talk. I mean, I'm not in any big rush.
That sounds great.
To get this done.
All right, Mr. Bowman.
I want to get it done, and I want to get it done for the right price, obviously.
Sure.
And I don't want to get beat up. Obviously, like I said, I mean, this is, I'm shopping. To be very honest with you. Well, when your letter came in, we thought, okay, let's take a look at this.
Sounds like a smart consumer.
Several. I mean, I couldn't believe the letters that we got.
Well,
and people wanting, and that's when we started looking at that one, and it was $8.53 for both of us, or it could be for one for, I think it was like 5 something. I got the paperwork, so I'm not trying to, pull your chain. You can always take a look at it, and I'll show you what we had. And you tell me, no, you don't want that one because.
Mr. Bowman, you've been a man of honesty, so I appreciate that. I'll look forward to following up with you next week.
That'll be great. I appreciate that.
Good luck with the floors.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. Boy, you can't get any more candid than that. Oh my gosh, whatever moron tried to say that this guy is 65 years old, born in 1946. No, he's 60 years old, right? Am I doing my math correctly? 54. No, he's 70. I've got to catch him before August, or he can't even do the accidental. Mutual Omaha will go all the way up to age 70 and put a 10-year accidental on him. Anyhow, you got to know your product. And whoever told, oh my gosh, how you can't do any good to be dishonest. Try to do the switch and bait. I'm going to be honest with people over the phone, but no, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I can do that for let me look it up. You're trying to quote this over the phone without really going kneecap to kneecap, eyeball to eyeball. You're going to help about 1 out of 10 persons. You'll pay for your leads, great. But guys, I want you to be over $100,000 by spending no more than $300 or $400 a week. You can spend 15 grand, make 120 grand, so that you are putting in your pocket over $100,000 if you'll follow my method. Oh, the time is getting away. But I was going to go with that one just for laughs and giggles so that you could hear that go through. But tell you what, let's go over here to Herbert. Herbert is also from Bailey and Wood. Herbert is let's put in his phone number and see if we can have another interesting phone call. Nothing good happens on the phone unless you set the appointment. I wasn't going into anything more than I had to attack, boy, that some moron agent. But remember,
Hello?
Hi, may I speak with Mr. Maynor?
Speaking.
Hi, Mr. Maynor. My name's Tim Lankford, on my form here, it says Herbert. I'm following up with a letter that we received from you about your mortgage with Bailey and Wood. You remember that letter that you guys had sent back to us about mortgage protection?
Yes.
Is it okay for me to call you Herbert?
Yeah, you call me whatever, yeah.
Okay, that's how Mom was with me too. Hey, just to confirm a couple things, it looks like you said the best time to call was around 10 o'clock in the morning. The 2 dates of birth I have on here as the homeowner, is that you, Herbert, the 10/25/46?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and then the 4/17/62, is that your wife?
Yes.
Okay, and it looks like we've got you at 5963 West Boulder Creek Drive there in New Palestine.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and it looks like, what is it, about a $242,910 mortgage?
Yeah, that's about right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we just bought the house. So.
Very nice, very nice. Well, hey, my role for the company is a pretty easy one. What I do is go over the options for you and your wife, and we customize a quote. Usually it takes about 10 or 15 minutes, and I've got a 8 o'clock available tomorrow morning if that works for you guys.
Well, my wife still works, so that's not going to work out too well.
What time does she get home?
Usually about 5:30.
I've got a 5. Are you someplace that you could write down my name?
Actually, I'm driving right now. So
oh, I'm sorry.
You could just text this number. Just text me your name and number.
Okay, well, what I was going to do is have you, I'm committed for 5, but if I can put you guys down for 6 o'clock, will that work?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd like to check with her first, but I don't see a problem with that.
I'm real familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm real familiar with New Palestine. Well, I shouldn't say real familiar. I've been through it several times. A good friend of mine has your state wrestler. Oh my goodness, that kid was incredible who was wrestling for you guys this last year. But Boulder Creek, could you help me with, like, what's a major intersection closest to you?
We're right off of 600.
Right off of 6.
Just north of 52. If you get on 600 at 52, go north. You know where the fire station is on 600?
I actually do. I've passed that before. I remember that.
Okay, just past that, maybe a half a mile, and Boulder Creek's right off of 600, and we're right on the corner.
Right on the corner. Is there like a flagpole or anything out in front that I would recognize the house?
No. I mean, there's an entrance that says Boulder Creek, but it's kind of facing the direction you would be coming from. I mean, would you be coming from 52 or?
I'll probably be coming from 52, yeah.
Okay.
But you say you're right on the corner, so I probably can't miss you, right? My GPS usually does a pretty good job, but sometimes
your GPS should take you right to it.
Okay, that makes it nice and easy. Okay, so we'll talk about tomorrow. Make sure I didn't goof this up. What time did I tell you? I'm sorry.
Well, you said 6.
Okay. Tell you what.
I was going to call you back and confirm that as soon as I talk to my wife.
Okay, and when I asked you if I could call you Herbert, it sounds like you go by some other name. What do your friends call you?
No, I just go by Herb.
Herb. Okay. What's your wife's name, Herb?
Well, her first name's Regina, but she goes by Kay, which is her middle name.
Okay. Well, I will look for it. If it's all right with you, I'll just call her Kay.
That's fine, yeah.
Herb, thank you for your time. I apologize for talking to you while you're driving. Hope I didn't distract you too much, but look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
I'm on Bluetooth, so it's okay.
Very good. Well, you take care. Have a good day, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow evening at 6.
Yeah, are you going to text me your number?
Yes, I sure will.
Okay.
All right, Herb. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
he actually has my number on his caller ID, but that's okay. Yeah, you have to run your business how you feel good about it. But even if now, if he waits till tomorrow afternoon and say, hey, it's not going to work out, I'm going to go ahead and show up, guys. If it's, and it's just right here near Indianapolis. So my day is going to be filled after I get off this phone call. Actually, I'm sitting down with our agency who's in here from Las Vegas, and I'm going to be on the phone from 5 to midnight because they're actually 3 hours behind. I won't be calling Indianapolis after 10 o'clock. But usually I get off the phones between 9:30. But between 5 and 9, I'm calling to set the rest of my day. I hope that helps you guys. This is fun. Sean, or I can't do one more. I've got somebody coming in that I have to interview at noon. But you call me, Sean, and let's get on the phone with you and me, and I will be glad to. Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm glad to hear that then, Sean. Guys, I have fun with this thing. I hope get over the fear of the phone. Don't let that thing dictate how much money you make. Get over the fear of the phone. I don't care if the lead is 10 years old. If they filled out, and if you've got an age lead, actually our age leads go from 90 days to 1 year, you can get a dollar lead, buy 500 of them from 1 year old to 2 years old. Get good on the phone. I can't say I like the phone. That would not be 100% the truth. But I don't mind it. I still don't like it. I'd rather be talking to you. I'd rather be, sitting with my family. So I don't like it. But you know what? I'll leave you with this wonderful thought. If I gave you a fork and you had a chicken coop filled with chicken crap, and I told you there was $1 million at the bottom of all of that chicken poo, wouldn't you go after it? Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. I would be so bold to say that you would go after that $1 million just because you had that fork. It may take you a year, but you have $1 million at the bottom of that chicken poo. That's what you've got in your hands here, guys. I was in Dallas with 4 agents who 4 of the 22 of us were over $500,000 a year by writing mortgage protection policies. Guys, number 1, go make it happen for your income. Number 2, go make it happen for your family. Number 3 takes care of the first 2. If you will go and take care of that family in the field who filled out this form, and sometimes you just got to get them beyond their stupid self, like our first call. Oh yeah, it's $8 to get all of our money back. Some agent really did him an injustice. If Jim, would you answer that real quick for me? I've got the interview coming in, so guys, I've got to run. I hope this was fun for you. I've had a blast, and you go make it happen for that family in the field that takes care of the first 2, and I wish you many blessings. You go, you hold God in your heart, and you sit down with these families, you help them. And the closer your relationship is with Christ, the closer you'll be to be able to helping people in the field. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.